guys, we are here with the infamous Rachel, the reals of the real queen. If you could introduce yourself to the pod fan.
Hey guys, I'm Rachel. I'm a freshman. I'm a journalism major, and I'm from Fredericksburg.
So what made you choose UMHB?
Well, my mom went here. My mom's an alum, and
An alum.
she's an alum, guys. I'm a legacy. But I wanted to go here since I was in like the 5th grade. And then when it came time to like tour schools, this was like the first school that I toured because like I knew that I've always wanted to come here. And I was kind of like set on it. But my mom was like, you need to tour some other schools as well. And I went to a few other places and it just like nothing clicked like UMHB.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a no-brainer.
What made you choose journalism as your major?
I've always really enjoyed writing. And I was in my high school newspaper, and I've interned at my local, like my hometown newspaper, a couple summers, and I just really like, it's my calling. I really enjoy doing it, and it's something that I want to do for the rest of my life.
So before coming to UMHB, like that summer before, how did you feel knowing you were going to college?
Obviously, nervous. You don't know what it's gonna look like. You see all these like movies and stuff, and it's like this idealized experience. But I was nervous because I didn't know really anyone. Like, there's 2 other people at school here that are from my hometown that are like in my class. But other than that, I didn't really know anyone, and so I was kind of nervous about like the prospect of making friends and like what it would look like socially.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much academically, but socially. That was really something I was concerned about.
Yeah, it's the fact that every other freshman on this pod is Rachel's friend.
Yeah.
They're all like, Rachel, and I'm like, okay. It was not planned out that way. Well, one was, but
yeah.
The way that all 3 of y'all just know each other, I'm like, okay, well, y'all are different majors? That's fine, y'all are freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you find your friends on campus?
So so most of my friend group, we were in the same Welcome Week group,
Mm-hmm.
our crew group. And over the course of Welcome Week, we just got to be really close. Like, we all went to every single Welcome Week event. We all, were spending time with each other outside of that, and we just got to be really good friends. And so ever since then, we hang out pretty much every day. And there's like 10 of us. It's honestly, it's such a blessing. Because they're some of the most kind and genuine people ever. And I don't think I've ever had a friend group where I felt so safe.
Yeah.
And like they're not just gonna, at the drop of the hat, not want to be my friend anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's really a blessing. Yeah. And it's interesting for like the ratio on campus is like 3-to-1. 3 girls to every 1 guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that? I think so.
I think so.
I think I've heard that before.
Yeah.
But our group is like half, like there's like 5 girls and 5 guys, and so it's like a really good mix, and we get along really well. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, what was the hardest part of your your first fall semester, do you think?
Oh gosh. Probably, so I work for the paper. I work for the Bells.
For the Bells!
The news crew.
Yeah.
And I also work at an ice cream shop off campus. And so, like, the first couple of months, like, getting into the swing of things and, like, figuring out how to manage my time with having 2 jobs and, taking, obviously, like, 15 hours of classes. And at first it was really difficult to, like, figure out how to make that work. But now I've got it down to a science, but yeah.
Dude, a lot of freshmen coming in, they have a lot of social anxiety, and you said that was kind of one of your, do you feel that anymore, or
No.
going around asking people random questions.
No, I mean, it's the reels are awkward, especially when people say no.
And they're like, no.
It's like, okay, well,
yeah, okay.
But no, I've realized that I know a lot of people on campus.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend, her name's Anna, and we spend a lot of time together, and we'll just be walking around, and I'll be like, hey, because I just know so many people, and she's like, Rachel, like, how do you know all of these people?
Yeah.
But I think it just kind of came naturally to me. I wouldn't, prior to this year, to like this coming year, I would not have called myself an extrovert, but I definitely think like being in an environment like UMHB where it's like so safe and everyone is like accepted and, you know, such a strong like Christian, you know, kind environment, like I've really been able to come out of my shell and like become the extrovert that I never was. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but so how do you feel your spring semester is going?
It's been good. I think it's been a little more like I've struggled a little bit more just because like first semester it's like yay, we're at college, shiny new like world, and now that kind of is worn off, and it's kind of like the reality of like, oh my gosh, I'm an adult, like I am like living on my own, like taking care of myself, and not that I'm not still dependent on my parents, but just the reality of like being out here and being alone,
just going to sleep and your parents aren't there, just you and your roommate,
and figuring stuff out like that is
what do you think what was something that you had to learn more, time management or dealing with mental health?
Yeah, definitely time management was an issue for me, but also my mental health. I've had a history of like depression and anxiety, and so like first semester I was able to we have free counseling on campus if you're struggling. And I got, you know, I emailed and got that, and I started going to that, and that was really helpful first semester. I'm not doing that anymore because like I got settled in and I didn't think that I needed it anymore. And like as I said, I'm very grateful for the blessing that like my friend group has been, because I don't think that without the strength of those relationships I would have been doing as well as I am now. Simply because like, you know, it's helped keep me in check, and like if I'm having a bad day, you know, the urge is like to not leave my room or to like not talk to anyone, and like having those relationships and you know, being around those people all the time, it like kind of forces me to like go out and like talk to these people, and which I think has been really good for me. That's not how it is for everyone, but
yeah. My freshman year I was definitely isolated. I didn't meet my crew group. I didn't get dubbed. I didn't do any of that freshman year. I was a hater, man. I'll admit it. I was very much a hermit. I didn't want to do anything. I made my one friend and I was good. I didn't need to talk to anybody else. But that one friend left the spring semester freshman year. So I had to go back out and like do this, and I think this is the first semester where I'm actually like talking to people. Actually, like, I think that's very helpful. And freshman year is just like, it's really fun but also really hard at the same time, I think. And mentally, like, I talked to Allie, me, now we all went to counseling our freshman year, and I think that's very healthy. So if you feel like you need it, it's free. Yeah. It's part of your tuition. Take it. But
and they are amazing counselors. They do a great job.
I just stopped going because it was at 8 a.m. and I was a freshman. I couldn't go at 8 a.m. anywhere. But when I went, it was very helpful, and I do think if I didn't go, I don't think I would be where I am right now. So very grateful for that. Might go back. But what was something that you were expecting, maybe like coming in, like you said, the movies, and it didn't really happen, or maybe it's not as glamorized as the movies, or maybe it's more than what the movies are? What do you think?
Gosh, I don't know. definitely like in movies or like on. I watched a lot of before I came. I watched a lot of like college move-in like vlogs and like girls and it definitely, I was expecting like just immediately for everything to be like perfect.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. It's a process, and my roommate and I are really close, but like the first few weeks it was like I mean, we weren't arguing, but it's awkward.
Yeah.
And it takes, for me it was, I found my group of people really fast, but I think a lot of people, it takes a while for them to like figure everything out.
It takes time. And it's okay if you're one of those people who don't have a not even a huge friend group. Maybe it's quality over quantity, and you have both, so that's good.
Yeah.
It is a blessing, but don't go into it being like, oh, I have to have all of this. I have to have this life. Because your experience is different from mine. That doesn't mean we didn't both enjoy things or things like that. So I would say that it's always going back to expectations of going in and being like, I want all of this. And if you don't have it, that doesn't mean anything. It just means that your expectation wasn't maybe feasible at that time, so just because you don't have a lot of friends your freshman year doesn't mean, maybe that shows, hey, I need to change something. I need to go out and do something more than what I would do before, because that's something that I had to do. How in your major, have you taken any core classes or not yet? Just
I really haven't.
The basics.
I've been kind of like getting all my basics out of the way.
Yeah.
Next semester I'm in like 3 comm classes.
Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to like start learning things that I'm more interested in.
Yeah.
And getting to know more people in my major.
What is something that you had to overcome that you didn't even like maybe expect to deal with?
Oh gosh. Probably like, okay, I'm vegetarian.
Okay.
And I have been for 3 years. Not to brag. But I, like, coming into college, I figured that there would be more, like, options available for that. And there's really not. And so, like, navigating that and figuring out, like, what I can eat and, like, where I can eat and, what works for me has been kind of a challenge. But I've got it all figured out now, but at the beginning it was really difficult, and yeah.
Do you have any advice for vegans? Is it vegetarian or vegan?
Vegetarian.
Okay, vegetarians. Sorry.
Definitely use your like meal exchanges, especially like freshman year. Yeah. I know like once you move out into like the apartments and stuff, you don't get that.
You don't get that.
But freshman year, like go to Subconnect and like get a veggie sandwich, go to Moe's and get like a veggie bowl. Like don't just rely on Bacchum, because there's hardly any options there, and so like
it's just a salad bar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mainly. I don't think they have any.
Yeah. Like the first couple of months I was just going to Bacchum and eating cereal a lot, which is like not good for me, and so it's kind of like figuring out, like not even figuring out, but just realizing that there are other options outside of like the main dining hall and like utilizing those. And it's also a lot of like finding ways to implement protein into those areas that's not meat, without like eating and trying to minimize like your carb intake, because like then you're unhealthy.
That seems yeah. Do you have any advice for any freshmen coming in?
Gosh, soak it up. Like, and don't isolate yourself, like we were talking about. Like, everyone their freshman year is looking for friends, and so just talk to the person next to you in class. Go to your welcome week events, like and just, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and it's it's difficult at first, but the further you get into it, the more friends you make, and then all of a sudden you're like wait, 6 months ago I didn't know these people? Like,
you hang out with them all the time, and you do everything all the time with them. Yeah, I would say definitely don't wait like I did, because then I feel like everyone does have their own journey, but I feel like I could have enjoyed my freshman and sophomore year, why people texting me, a lot better than I did now. But I don't regret it. I understand that was a learning curve. So if you feel like you're isolating, just take a little step out of your comfort zone, because it does help you in the end. And me and Rachel could talk all day about our freshman experience. But this is only going to help you so much if you actually apply it and do it. And yet you're still going to have your own experiences, because you're doing it. Does that make sense? So we're not giving you the perfect way, because we don't have the perfect way. But we have our experiences and we learned from them. And that's what we're trying to help other people with. Especially from you being a vegetarian. Am I saying it right? I do not want to offend anybody. I feel like that's just a whole other battle. Like, just eating healthy on campus in general, vegetarian, eating meat. Like, that's hard either way, because the freshman 15 is real.
It's real. 100%.
It's real, and it makes you like, what? Because you get freedom, like, it's different. It's hard to explain. Like, you're like, you want to go eat? I'm like, oh yeah, we can go eat. Like,
you go from like having your mom cook you and like every meal and it being like, I mean, this is what I'm and you know, it being like well portioned and everything, to like, I can go to Sonic anytime I want.
Yeah.
Like, I can just drive there right now.
You can just drive there. You can DoorDash. You can like and then financials come. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no.
It's just it's adulthood. Like, and no one can prepare you. Like, we can talk all day, like I said, but no one can really prepare you for adulthood. You get your advice and you go do what you can with it. And like, that's why mistakes are important in a way, because you learn from them. If we were perfect, then life would kind of be boring in a way, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of things that... It's a good community atmosphere here, but I feel like those people that are, like, hermits who, like, don't want to go out, I feel like this is a good way for them to see, like, hey, go out, go do something, go ask questions. And, like, if people are rude about it, then you know the people not to ask the questions.
Yeah.
And then go find other... Like, don't just stereotype one thing because of a bad experience, I think, because I think that's what I did, and a lot of people I knew growing up, we did. It's like, it's not healthy, you know. But any other advice, any other parting words?
Not that I can. Just have fun. Like, most important thing is obviously school, but second most important thing is having fun. Like, make the most of it. Don't like go crazy and get addicted to various substances, but enjoy yourself, find a good friend group, grow in Christ, like, you know, that's what's important. And
we're here with Brighton.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't want to say it wrong. And how you're freshman at UMHB, right?
Yes.
And what made you choose UMHB?
I'm a legacy student, so I'm the 29th person in my family to attend the university.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I have just a long line of family history here. My parents both went here, and ever since I came to campus my first time for a tour, I knew that this is where I'm supposed to be.
When did you come for that first time?
At my freshman year, I did an unofficial tour with one of my mom's friends that she graduated with, who's an employee here, and he just kind of took me around campus, and I fell in love.
What's your major?
I'm an English major.
And what made you choose English?
So English has always been the subject that I've been the strongest in. I've never really been good at science or math or anything, but I found my place in reading and writing. So literature had my heart. And I wanted a stable career in it, so I decided that publishing sounded fun, interesting, and a lot of English involved.
So you said you saw the campus and you just fell in love with it. Was there any other schools that you were thinking about, or?
I wanted to go to Belmont University in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
It's another Christian private school because they have a degree specifically in publishing. But another thing that dragged me here to UMHB is the cheer program.
Oh.
So I knew that I could make the team here and worked to make the team here, and then became a cheerleader for UMHB.
So you're a cheerleader?
Yes, I am.
Oh wow! How was that experience?
It's been really fun.
Mhm.
I love game days, being on the field, and just getting to interact through a different dynamic of being a cheerleader. And I've done cheer for so long that it just feels like a part of me.
Yeah. You did it in high school and
Middle school all the way through.
yeah. So you're like, this is something I know I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
So you're good at it and you do it and you enjoy it.
Yes, I do.
So what was did you have any anxiety, any fears coming into your freshman year, or what were you thinking in that process?
So I was very excited just because a new experience away from mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Being out on my own just seemed really fun. But when I got here, I did become very anxious.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn how to manage anxiety with everything that I was doing, just on the daily. And I didn't have anyone around me to depend on, so I was completely on my own for the first time ever. So that is what caused a lot of my anxiety, but it was manageable.
Yeah. I do think, like, just that transition of coming to a new place, there's always going to be anxiety. There's always going to be fear of, like, fitting in or, like, doing the things. Because you may have a plan, but sometimes the plan doesn't go according to what you plan. So how did you become friends with Liam, Rachel? Like, how did that come about?
So we were all in the same welcome week group.
Okay, yeah.
So instantly, we all just kind of started hanging out, and then we never stopped hanging out. We even still talk to our crew leaders all the time.
Okay.
So, like, us from welcome week, we've all just stuck together, and it's been a lot of fun because of that.
Do you think welcome week is helpful for freshmen to kind of meet people and create those lasting friendships?
Absolutely. I mean, I've known stories of people meeting friends that last all the way through welcome week, and I've experienced that myself. I also met my boyfriend through welcome week.
Oh wow.
So our group really clicked really well, and I don't think I would have been friends with any of the people if we hadn't been in that welcome week group together.
Yeah. Just kind of like forcing people together.
Knowing people of your like major too. So I got to meet all of the humanities kids, and so that was really fun because I'm like, oh, they are going to the same college that I am, kind of thing.
Yeah. How was your freshman semester now compared to your spring semester? Or your fall semester, sorry.
Fall was really crazy. It seems like there's just a lot going on, especially with being a cheerleader. Fall was hectic. Spring, I have now relaxed a little bit more. I'm settled. I have my routine.
Yeah.
I have my friends, so I wasn't coming in worried about it. I was coming in excited to see those friendships that I had built. And I had just had a whole different view of being a college student because that fear was taken away, and it was now like, I'm not going to college. It felt like I was coming back home.
Yeah. It kind of feels like home. After a while, you're just like, oh, I got to go back. You kind of get used to your routine.
Yeah.
And doing, life here. Is there any, like, besides cheerleading, is there any other, like, clubs or maybe activities that you have done throughout your freshman?
So I'm a part of FYC, and I've loved that experience. I've met a lot of wonderful people through there, great mentors through FYC too. Just getting to talk to freshmen that are going through the same things I am in the same age group has been really nice. And having that Christ-centered community specifically through a club centered around it has just been really phenomenal and an experience I wouldn't change.
How did you hear about FYC?
My crew leader was in FYC her freshman year and just recommended it. And then this summer, cheerleaders at cheer camp were saying, join FYC. You will love it. You will last the friendships. So I haven't heard anything but amazing things about FYC. So I knew as soon as the signups came out that I needed to sign up.
Yeah. And FYC, what does that stand for?
First year collective.
First year, okay. Yeah. Just going out of your comfort zone. Have you done anything like that? Everything.
Honestly, yes, everything. I am a quiet-natured person, so I'm not the kind of one to stand out loud in front of a crowd, but that's really all I've done this first year because, I mean, the UMHB has helped that a lot. I was able to find friends who supported me and without question was able to have that friendship. and that was just really nice.
What do you think the hardest thing now about college you may feel, or is anything hard, or is
Mental health.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like so basic
No,
and so
it's
cliche,
not.
but it's really hard to maintain your mental health when you
Yeah.
feel alone. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of freshmen struggle with that, being away from home for the first time. It's really easy to feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
And mental health through classes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot harder to be a college student, especially a college athlete.
Yeah.
So I had to really refocus and put myself first for the first time in a long time to
Mhm.
make sure that mental health stayed intact.
How is that maintaining your cheering and your school and like just that as a whole?
It's difficult,
Mhm.
and no one will tell you that it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
I was told right from the gate from veteran cheerleaders that it's
Mhm.
hard, and they did not lie.
Yeah.
So it is a struggle, but it's one that I would do over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
because the outcome of getting to succeed in the fields that I love the most has
Mhm.
been just so amazing to watch in a different perspective.
Do you have any like advice for maybe someone who wants to try out for cheer next year? They're
Yeah.
coming in. Any advice for them?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Give it your all. Be prepared for it to be hard, because I came in thinking it would be hard, and I
Mhm.
think that helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Take it seriously would be the other thing
Yeah.
I say, because it's not something you can joke about,
Mm-hmm.
but in the end it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Was it hard to get in, or I don't know really much about cheer or athletics, so.
It's a
process?
tryout process,
Okay.
so I wasn't able to go to tryouts this year because I had an injury last year, so I had to do virtual, so I don't know the full thing of
Okay.
tryouts. I've heard it's physically draining
Mhm.
because it's just 3 non-stop days of intense cheerleading.
Mhm.
So physically and mentally that's just tough in
Yeah.
general. But in the end, I would say it's hard to be a cheerleader
Yeah.
because you have to maintain a lot.
Mhm.
We were told from the beginning that we're advertisement for the school, so
Oh wow! Okay.
having that pressure of you are a face of UMHB,
Mhm.
you are what people look at as a UMHB student, and
Mhm.
especially a cheerleader, was like not an easy thing to live with.
Yeah.
So that pressure is a lot to handle.
That added pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like jobs outside of school right now, or are you just doing school and cheer?
I have a work-study job.
Oh.
I work at the library here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but nothing off
I
campus.
go to the library a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah. And how's that? Is that you think that's a good job for?
If you're doing work-study, I would definitely recommend it. The staff is so sweet.
Mhm.
The people that work there are the kindest people I've ever worked with, and it's just a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of an English nerd, so
Okay.
surrounding myself with the books is easy for me to
It's
do.
good for you.
It's good for me to do.
Yeah. And has your job, does it feel like it's helped you because it's on campus, it's not that far, you could walk to it? Do you think it's beneficial for you in the sense of you could maintain all of these things, your mental health, your schoolwork, and being an athlete with working?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like working on campus because
Mhm.
it's easier. My parents like that I work on campus
Yeah.
because it's safer.
Yeah.
Like you said, walking there is easy, and they fit with my class schedule really well, so
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about that, as well as final schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of just in a really good place of working there without having, it's like not adding stress. It's
Yeah.
kind of just adding to my schedule.
Yeah. I think work study is very, very beneficial for your freshman year because you don't have to leave. Some freshmen don't have cars to be able to leave for work.
Mm-hmm.
And it does add that added stress of like, oh, I have to get ready and leave instead of like, oh, I just gotta go walk to work. And
Absolutely.
that's it. So I think that's very helpful. How was your experience with finals last semester?
It was stressful.
Yeah.
So last semester I came in and I decided to be a nursing major. So I changed my major in the middle of the semester.
Oh, wow!
So but it was too late for me to drop the nursing class I started. So I was in chemistry, and that was rough. So
Wow.
chemistry was the only stressful final I had of just not knowing what the heck is going on,
Yeah.
and then having to study for a final.
Mhm.
and I have test anxiety.
Yeah.
So that's already a lot for me to handle.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that one really difficult class, finals was really nice. It's people put a lot of pressure on it, and they should, because you should take finals seriously, but also don't take them more seriously than you have to, because a lot of my finals last year were like end of unit exams and not real finals.
It's not like it's just another test. It's the final test basically. So I do think they kind of overhype it, but it is important to study and do what you need to do to pass it. But it is, I don't say like be so stressed over it. Nursing major is different. I can't
understand the stress of that one.
I can't understand it. I don't want to understand it. It's just nursing. What happened? What made you change nursing?
So I just realized that it really wasn't what I wanted to do, because the stress of one chemistry class was nowhere near the stress I would face every day as a nurse. Or in A&P or nursing school in general. I have so much respect for the girls and boys that do end up being nurses, because it's not easy.
No.
But for me, it's not where I would thrive and not where I would succeed in life.
I'm glad that you weren't afraid to change your major. I feel like a lot of freshmen, they have that feeling of like, oh, like, do I really want to do this? And then people stick with it. And even sophomore year, you can change it. Like, it's not until like you get into those core classes where it's like, well, you need to make a decision, you know. But I'm glad that you felt comfortable enough to change it, because I know a lot of people who are like, oh, well, maybe I should have changed it. And I was like, well, if you felt that way, if you're not enjoying it still later in your college career, maybe you should, you know. And I think that's one big thing that freshmen are afraid of, change. And do you have like any advice for maybe someone who wants to change?
Yeah, I was scared to change my major, and I definitely would not have done it if I hadn't talked through it with my parents. So I talked to my mom a lot last semester, just because she is like my lifeline. And with that, I was like, Mom, I'm stressed out about this class. And she was like, well, suck it up, because you chose that major, like trying to just tell me to power through it if this is really what I wanted to do. And I went to my dad and I was like, I can't do this. And he's like, well, imagine what your life is going to be like after this. So looking at that advice of, this isn't just a class, like this is what my career is going to be, really helps me change that. So I would say, like, talk to people, whether it's a parent or a counselor or something, and also think of the future that you're setting up with this class. If it's a required class that's like a core class, then suck it up. You have to suffer through it.
You have to get through
those core classes. But if it's like a major specific class and you're struggling or you don't like it, you should definitely take that as a sign.
As a sign, I think so. Because like, that's when like your core classes, you're like, you have to power through it, because it's not something you want to do, but it's required of you. But once you get into those core classes of your major, you'll be like, yeah, I like this. And then if you're not feeling that way, I would definitely say just look at other places or see why you're not feeling that way. What were you expecting, you know? So coming to college, did you have any expectations that maybe didn't come true, or overthinking things, or?
Honestly, not really.
No?
I'm a big overthinker, so I was thinking it would be super crazy difficult, and my first semester was really difficult, and there's really no way to sugarcoat that. I had a hard first semester, but I made it through. As for expectations, I tried really hard not to set any expectations for myself with coming into college, so none of them really got disheveled in any way.
That's good.
So it was nice to just sit back and watch everything come through instead of being like, that's not how it was supposed to look.
I think it's really easy for us as freshmen or as people to be like, this is what I want, you know, and it just doesn't work out like that.
No,
And then when it falls short, we're like, what's wrong with us? We go immediately into like this panic mode. It's like, wait, maybe that's not our plan, you know? Like, just because you have a plan doesn't mean that's what's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
So it's like these expectations. Yes, it's good to have expectations. Like, oh, I want to do this in life. But if it doesn't happen, you know, like, that's God's will. That's, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's hard. It's okay for it to be hard. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to go through it. but don't let it break you because you were expecting
yes.
something.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what a lot of people do. Even in your junior, senior year, you're like, I want this.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I here and not over here? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just think expectations could really break you
Mm-hmm.
if you're not like looking at them in the right light, if that makes sense. So I think that's really good advice to just not expect anything, but do what you think you're capable of doing. And it's your freshman year, so you have no idea. So how can you expect what you don't know?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, especially with you being an athlete, like you knew it was gonna be hard, but you just didn't know specifically how hard.
Yeah.
And now you know that, so for next semester you're gonna come out even stronger.
Absolutely.
Because now you have expectations because you've learned on certain ways to how to deal with the stress, deal with it. And there's gonna be hard days no matter what. So I just think that's really good advice.
Mm-hmm.
And so how are you feeling about sophomore year?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm ready for something new.
Yeah.
I feel like I got my routine with freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very much speeding to an end right now.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for sophomore year.
Mm-hmm. These 4 years will fly by. Mm-hmm. I'm already a junior. I will be a senior next year.
Yeah.
And I just got here. I feel like I just got here. I'm barely feeling the college experience, so I'll just say live it to the fullest, honestly. Mm-hmm. Have fun, take breaks, and just, grow. I just feel like you grow every semester, honestly. From fall to spring, you're a different person, I feel like, in different ways. Academically, you could be with cheer, could be with working, anything like that. So, do you have any advice for any incoming freshmen?
I've said a lot of advice already. Yeah. Be prepared for it to be hard because it's not going to be easy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people try to be like, no, you'll be okay. But I had someone tell me when I was first there, they were like, you're not going to sleep well the first week because you're getting adjusted to a new bed and a new space. It's going to be hard. You're going to struggle and you're going to want to go home. Mm-hmm. So I'd say don't go home. Yeah. My parents gave me a 3-week rule, and I would advise anyone to kind of live by that. Like, don't go home for the first 3 weeks so you can fully live here. And just know that it's going to be stressful, but you're not going to live like that forever.
Yeah. Dorm life is not forever life.
No, it's not.
It's not forever life. You'll get through it, I promise.
Yes.
Is there anything that you would advise against, maybe?
Don't put yourself in too much, because even academically doing a lot of classes at first, you can get burnt out so fast. Yeah. And burnout is hard to deal with.
Burnout sucks.
Yeah. So don't put yourself in every club because you're here for a while. You can do things after your freshman year. Yeah. So just relax into it.
Hi, I'm Liam Bryant.
What's your major?
Film studies.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Same.
Really? Oh, cool.
Yeah. Wow. So how was your experience, like high school going, and like how did you find out about UMHB?
Well, I was homeschooled for most of my childhood and high school, and then we were just looking for a good Christian university that I felt like would be a good fit for me. I didn't want anything too big or crazy. I kind of wanted like a small university that I feel like I could be more connected to. And after visiting a couple of colleges, I just decided UMHB was the right one to do.
And what made you want to become a film major? Because I know that's kind of...
I always liked watching movies, and then, I don't know, some movies I think are not just movies, they can be very important, and I just always wanted to be a part of the making of a film that's like that, or just filming in general. I like writing, but I also like holding the camera and filming stuff as well.
Oh, wow.
So I'm still trying to figure out which I like more, but yeah, I just really like the process of making a movie, and I think they're really fun to make.
What classes have you taken?
So far I've just been getting my core stuff out of the way. But,
makes sense. Yeah.
I took film appreciation this semester, and that's a really good class.
Who'd you take that with?
Dr. Dr. Hornak.
Oh, okay. I'm doing it this semester with Anderson. I don't know if you met him yet.
I might have.
Professor Anderson. He's like the head kind of the film.
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll have more classes with him later in your semesters, but yeah, film appreciation got away from me my freshman year. I'm a junior and I'm barely taking it now. So it's like, oh well, I get to watch movies and write an essay on it.
My favorite class.
Yeah.
Movies and then
you talk about it. Yeah. That's why I think it's crazy. I feel like a lot of people may be like, what is the film world? Especially for me, I grew up in a very small town. And so coming to UMHB, it was small, but this is like humongous to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So especially you being homeschooled, how was that transition?
I mean, I will say that it was, I guess for lack of a better term, a little frightening.
Yeah.
It's kind of a drastic change. But it's just like anything in life, you get used to it and you kind of like adapt and figure out like your schedule and how you're gonna do things, and so eventually you kind of just learn like anything in life and practice and things like that.
Yeah. Have you made any friends on campus?
Actually, on Welcome Week, I've stuck with my crew group since then, and we've all become pretty good friends, and I just think that's kind of cool because I didn't think that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But no, like since day one of my school year, we've just been hanging out, and I thought that was good.
Is your crew group primarily film majors, or are they a mix?
It's all under the communications or humanities or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think there's one other person in my group who's a film studies, and then there's like journalism, history, English, that kind of thing.
I'm still like amazed that you're film studies. That was like not planned at all. I was like, Rachel, you have freshman friends. Give me a friend. Cause like I'm very like busy, so I don't have time to like go out and like find people. So like you use your resources, but I am like, it's just like kind of like the geek in me. I'm like, you're a film studies major. Yeah. It's really fun. I'd say that what's it called? You're really gonna enjoy it, and you're really gonna learn about like what specifically you want to do, and in the film world. And there's so much to do, which is crazy. Like you'll have a job anywhere doing anything. If you don't like it, you could go somewhere else. Yeah. Like it's just, I think it's really cool. Personally. So your transition to becoming a freshman, like what dorm do you live in right now?
Lord.
And how's that experience been for you?
Pretty good. What's really funny to me is that I did have a roommate, but like the second or third week he dropped out.
Oh wow.
And that's just because he got a job offer that he thought was better. But yeah, so I've been living by myself in the dorm room since then. But I mean, a couple of my friends in my friend group live like pretty much next door in the same hallway, so we hang out a lot. So it's not like a lonely experience for my part, to say the least. But
yeah, that happened to me in my freshman year, second semester. My roommate moved out. She moved to a single room in the same building because she thought I was leaving. So it was just, I was like, nope, not going anywhere. But I got my own room, and it was, it's cool because like you're like, well, once you get an apartment, you're gonna be like, I could never like go back to dorm life. I'm just like, dorm life is unique, but it does make you like want to get out of your room, which it makes sense to like go and meet people. Are you in any clubs or any school events?
I did last semester kind of help out with crew films a little bit. Well, I attended some of their meetings. I didn't really have time because of work.
Oh yeah.
This semester I did help film for crew nights or Crusader nights or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But that was fun. But that's kind of all I've really been able to do that like fits my schedule. So,
what did you do for crew nights? What was your?
I just helped film the skits.
Okay.
And yeah, that's all. And then I put a rough edit of them and submitted them to the person who would make the final edit.
You worked with Shane, Kaylin, and Lewis. Yeah. we're all the same level, so we all have the same classes. So I know all of them. That's small world. Yeah. So how did you say someone was wanting to get into crew nights? How did you go about that process?
Well, I mean, Shane already knew me from. We went to a class together, and I met him at Crew Films. Mm-hmm. So I think he was just looking for people to film, and I don't know. I guess he got to me, and I said yeah, because I thought it sounded fun.
So maybe just be more involved in people.
Make yourself known a little bit to other people, so they know that you're available to do the things that they can ask you for.
Yeah. And with that experience, did it make you even more excited for your career, your college career, just doing little events like that?
It's fun. I would say it's really fun just filming the people, doing the skits, but it's also what I think is cool is we have a set plan of a script of what we're gonna do, mm-hmm. but then it's kind of we also just ended up making up stuff as we went along. So it was really cool to just kind of hang out and what if we did this and film that, or what if we did this and then film that, and then kind of just see what worked after that. I thought that was a really cool experience. Yeah,
that's what's really cool about film sets. You just kind of can make it up as you go. Not you'll have a plan, but you can divert from that plan, change it, and it's could end up even better than what you imagined because you have everyone there working together. We just recently filmed Crew Films, the film. I don't know if you know Cole. Really tall, blonde hair. Yeah. We filmed his. He directed his film with Crew Films, and we're gonna debut it in the Beltonian. I think that's one of the FAE credits, the end, the very last credit you could get for
a relatively new. Club or whatever you call
it. And there's not a lot of funding for it, which I'm we could do so much with that. Yeah. We could grow, we can expand, and that's what this podcast is for the Bells. That's so we can get film students in the newspaper as well, because it's film, you know what I mean? I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you. It's not me writing a story, and you can definitely write a story and do scripts and stuff like that, but I think there's not that many internship opportunities as of, depending on where you live, because I live 2.5 hours away. So my closest one for me is Austin, which is fine because I have family there. But some people don't have those. So to get an internship paid at school, I think that's really cool, for film. So it's just sharing these opportunities, and I'm film major. You could go tell your friends, and maybe y'all want to do something like this or enhance Crew Films or the Bells, anything or make your own groups or make your own films or whatever you want to do. Right. So I just think that's really cool. I feel it has a lot to grow. There's a lot of growth that the film needs. It's pretty good course wise, but I feel we need the hands on as well.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you go to class, you learn the history, you see the movies. Okay, now I want to do it,
And I'm not the most experienced in filming or anything, but I will say that helping out film for crew nights definitely helped me gain some experience and I guess knowledge on how to do things better.
Yeah.
And so that helped a lot. But yeah.
What are your favorite genres of film?
For me, that's a difficult question because I like all kinds of movies.
Okay.
I would say probably action, just because it's the most fun movie to watch. Although I also like movies that are more contemplative, that give you something to think about.
Yeah.
Those movies are really
What's
good.
One of your favorite movies or show you're watching right now?
The movie that I like the most changes every
2 years or so. I understand that.
But one of my favorite movies that I've watched a bunch of times is No Country for Old Men. It's one of my favorite. It's a Koenig brothers film. It's really well written, and I think it's impossible for something to be perfect, but it's as close as perfect as I think a movie can be. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, wow. How do you feel your freshman year has gone? Since we're almost to the end, to finals, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I tend to overthink things, so I thought it wasn't going to go that good.
Same.
But, sort of just, I've always, after I've done something that I thought was going to be terrible, I always think, oh, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't, yeah.
And so it kind of just comes down to doing the homework, studying, staying focused, and just trusting in God that it will play out. In whatever way it may.
It's His will, not ours. It's like,
don't worry about
just don't worry about it. That's so hard. Like, it's so easy to tell somebody, but like for yourself, you're like, yeah, don't worry about it. And it's like,
I'm a big worrier.
Yeah.
That's
everything.
I'm always thinking like, what if it happens this way? What if it happens this way? But yeah, I've kind of learned throughout my freshman year that you just kind of have to just hope for the best, just don't try to focus on worrying.
One thing I think God's taught me is like, quit putting your expectations so high.
Yeah.
You're putting them like over here when you're not even like on the level of it, and you're gonna get to that level, but just not right now. And it takes time, it takes growth, it takes pain, it takes all the good stuff. So it's just
even
like,
what you think might be your plan or what God might have in store, you could be the exact opposite of what God actually does.
Yeah, I think God's really funny with that, because He's like, I'll let you. We'll figure this out together. You could have this, and then in the end, it just like totally flips on it, it's even better than what you expected, which is like, God.
Even before I knew I was going to be here, I didn't know what college I was choosing. I was super stressed about that.
Oh, yeah.
Figure that out. But like I went here on like a Seder day, I think, and I was just like, I think this is what God wants me to go, where God wants me to go to.
Did you do crew camp?
Yeah.
How was that experience?
I thought it was pretty good. It made me a little more nervous because I was like, oh gosh, because I started thinking about classes and like homework and exams and things like that. And I was like, started thinking about like the reality of what college is a little bit more. Even during welcome week, I was dreading it a little bit, like, oh, once this is over,
then you gotta go.
It's like, we'll see how it goes after that. But
what is one of the hardest things you think, challenges that you had your freshman year?
I think because like I've always, relied on my parents to like keep me like having a good schedule.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta wake up now to do work or school or whatever. Now it's like I'm an independent. It's like I can do whatever I want kind of thing. So really, the beginning semester of last semester, I struggled kind of like trying to keep myself time oriented. I would stay up too late, or I just would put off homework or whatever. Like I got time for that. Obviously, I learned that doesn't work out. No. So I kind of I learned that I learned the hard way, I guess, of like that you need to kind of take control of your own
or it's gonna
how you do stuff.
Take you over. Yeah.
Otherwise, because no one else is really like telling like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. That's kind of on your own part. So really, what I did struggle with was kind of learning how to do that. But this semester, I've kind of learned how to like just schedule things out better. And like I have like a set time where I do homework or study, and then a set time where I can hang out with friends or relax or whatever. So it's really just about scheduling yourself. Yeah,
I think that's one of the hardest things for a lot of people, because they're so used to school, like high school. Like, you have to be there at the same time. You know what time you get out. If you have a job, like you most likely know what time to go in, what time to go, what time to leave. And after that, you can kind of do whatever you want. I know, like, I grew up in a very small town, so we didn't really have homework. So coming here and having like homework, I was just like, oh, I gotta do something with my time, and then have a job on top of that, and it's like it can become very overwhelming.
Yeah, well, even me being homeschooled, like,
none
of the schoolwork was that stressful to me. Maybe that was just because I was home with my family.
Just
chill, like that bad. But then coming here, I was like, oh gosh, I have to actually do stuff. But no, it's definitely been a learning experience for me. I would say.
I had a question I forgot I was gonna ask about. Dang, it just left. I had a good question, I forgot it. what's any advice that you have for someone that's kind of like you, who was homeschooled, going, like, looking for a college? Like, what advice do you have for them?
I would say, in a way, put yourself out there a little bit. Because for me, I'm not I still kind of am a little bit, but I'm just not that social of a person.
Yeah.
But, like, my mom would say, like, you need to just go out there and be yourself and just talk to people, and you'll find the right group of friends if you do that. And so I took her advice, I guess, and really you just kind of have to work up the courage to just kind of, like, do something you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
And talk to people. Still something I'm not entirely the best at, but
no.
you know, I'm getting better at it, I suppose.
What is, like, something kind of like, did you ever have, like, a set expectation of what college would be, like, before you came to college, and has that changed, or did you not really have that?
Honestly, I thought it was going to be way worse in every way possible.
Okay.
I thought schoolwork was not going to go well. I thought I was going to have just constant homework everywhere.
Yeah.
I thought all my classes were going to be so confusing I wouldn't understand what's going on at all, or I didn't think I would make any friends. But, like, all my classes are kind of small, and, like, I know my professors well enough that I can ask them questions if I don't understand something.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like UMHB, is it kind of gives you the confidence, like, if you don't know something, you can
actually, yeah.
It's like, all my classes have at most, like, 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you can just
talk. Yeah, just.
Professor if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, and then there's the whole, like, Christian aspect of the school. That it is a great encouragement to have other people that share the same beliefs as you do.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. But, like, the thing that I, like, got drilled into me, like, college is gonna be so much harder, and this and this, and that, it makes you scared. And I'm like, the work is work, but it's not like, oh my goodness, I'm never gonna.
As long as you do it.
As long as you do it, and, like, if you have questions, ask. That's why I like UMHB, because.
And they have all the free tutoring.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that too. So it's like it's really helpful.
Yeah, because my friends, they go to, like, UTSA, San Antonio, and they have, like, 100 people in one class. I'm like, no, I wouldn't speak. I wouldn't say anything. I would just be like, all right, I don't understand. And I think that's what's, like, very discouraging to a lot of college people who go to, like, public universities or even private. Maybe their classrooms are a little bit bigger, and it's like, it is discouraging because you're like, well, everyone's gonna hear me ask this question. Do I sound dumb? Do I this? And then the overthinking, and then you just don't do it. So I think that's why I like UMHB a lot, even though UMHB is still huge to me, because, like, my class, I graduated with 11 people, so it's like having a class with, like, 30 people, I'm like, whoa, this is a little uncomfortable.
Well, I was the only one in my class, so.
What do you? Oh, I can't forget it. Yeah, so it's like the homeschooling is just so, like. Yeah. Did you go to like I know they do like teams, like homeschooling teams, like basketball?
Yeah, I did a couple of those. My brother joined, like, a basketball group where it's just a group that was organized by a couple of moms of just, like, homeschool kids that all wanted to play basketball, but, can't really join a public school basketball team. Whatever. And so that group, we kind of just hang out and do things too. Okay. So it's not an isolated experience, I would say. But yeah.
Do you think, like, people who are homeschool have harder times, like, getting into the college environment, if that makes sense? Like,
I mean, me personally, I would say yes. I think it also could play into, like, how your personality is, though. Yeah. Because I'm more introverted, I'd say. But my brother, who's also homeschooled, is way more extroverted, and he loves being social, and he's really confident in that. And so, like, whenever he graduates and goes to college, I don't think he's going to have trouble.
A problem? Yeah.
He's, like, a really talkative guy.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends on, like...
The person.
Yeah, the person, the individual.
Yeah. because it's like homeschooling. I went to a very small school, so it's not the same as homeschooling, but it's very more like, you know everybody. You know what I mean? You know everything, and everyone knows you, and it's a little crazy sometimes. But even here, like, look, you're a film major. My brain is like, what? Because, like, I think our film majors, like, film studies is the smallest group.
No, yeah. I'm always surprised when I meet someone that is a film studies major. Like, really?
Yeah.
I was the only one.
And, because every time I go, like, they're like, what's your major? I'm like, film. And they're like, what?
That's a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing.
No one really, every time someone asks me that and I tell them that it's film, everyone's kind of confused. They're like, what?
They're like, that's a career? Yeah. I'm like, yes, this is a career. This is a career. What were you saying?
How classes, if you don't like, only last like a semester.
Oh, yeah, it only lasts a semester. And then you're going to learn what semesters are instead of school years. Which is crazy because a semester feels like a school year. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, that was my school year, this is the next one.
Yeah,
and you kind of go.
It also goes by so fast.
It makes it go.
Last forever.
No.
It's already like 6 weeks or something until the semester's over. So,
yeah. Do you have anything else to add on? I hope and pray this is recorded. Because,
just trust in the Lord and cast your worries upon Him, and just continue working for the glory of Him.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on Live for the Journey, because it's a journey, and I hope the rest of your freshman year goes well.